All right, Shalom. I'm going to start out by giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, Shema, Shai, Shir, Dash, the brothers to the apostles and elders of great bills, so Shalom to all that I can matter, pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. I just have a quick article going into our secret human experiments invading brain chip tech, which is, of course, brain chip technology. This is an article published October 17th um, on Blacklisted News, and I'm going to jump straight into it. It said a doctor from Peru claims that recent advancements in brain chip technology could be due to secret, forced, and illicit human experimentation by a consortium of transnational tech companies and governments operating outside of the law. Right. So this doctor in Peru is basically speaking about you know Edomites that are in secret forcing people to take brain chips outside of their will, more than likely strapping individuals down, trafficking them first and foremost, strapping them down, and experimenting on their brain functions. Whether it's the hippocampus or the different regions of the brain, and seeing how their different dimensions of the brain start reacts to microchipping. And you see that Sweden is starting to enact brain chips within the citizens. It's starting to become a major norm. And these different societies are going cashless. And this is a biblical prophecy. So the 2016 paper published in Egyptian Journal of Internal Medicine warned that secret, forced, and illicit human experimentation could be happening in Latin America, where poverty-stricken masses are routinely recruited for medical trials. The paper, titled "The Secret of Neuroscience Boom: Are There Secret Human Experiments in Latin America?" was written by Dr. David Salinas Flores, MD, professor of medicine at the Universidad Nacional Mayor de San Marcos, Peru. I'm going to jump down. It says, in the book, Eichel warned that only the most ruthless nations could win the arms race for brain chips and human augmentation, because advancements in the technology could only come from intrusive experiments on living human brains. Right, and that, just like modern science and modern, you know, like for example, the surgical realm, hospitals, the surgical technology to, actually know how to take out parts of the brain and experiment on the brain and the heart and the lung, the liver, the kidneys, cutting out certain parts of sicknesses or you know, diseases within the tissue. Bef- Before they got that advanced, they had to experiment and do trial runs. And a lot of those trial runs were upon slaves. Slaves in the 1600s, 1500s. They would take Jake's Israelites, black men and black women, and they would experiment on the different parts of their bodies without anesthetics. You know, you had with anesthetics, but in most cases without anesthetics. Of course, with your painkillers, and they would see how their body would react. Some of them went in shock and died. Some was able to take the pain, and after hours of continuous trials and workings of on these bodies, they started to complete and master their surgical practices. And then they got licensed. Of course, they had fellow licensed carriers. They, you know, admissioned individuals, through the different educational centers, and they actually start to become practitioners of the surgical craft. You see, so this same thing is being revved and generated right now. Before these things go on the forefront, they work on them in the background, and they work underground where nobody could see. And they work on it, like it says, the poor, the individuals that can't speak out, and even if they speak out, they're looked at like they're crazy, and they don't have enough money, and they don't have the proper powers to actually back what they say. you know, and these individuals don't have the money and the muscle to take these major companies to court. You know, and this happened. History repeats itself. This happened with the Tuskegee experiment. This happened with the Puerto Rican cancer experiment. All these different experiments that took place were mainly aimed at Black and Latino communities, and that's a well-known fact. So it says in the book, Eichel warned that only the most ruthless nation could, which I just read, excuse me. Eichel writes at some stage in the project's development, a nation's research might greatly benefit from intrusive experiments on living human brains. Liberal democracies would normally shun such experiments, but ruthless dictatorships would not. Facebook, Google, IBM, and Elon Musk have all heavily invested in projects related to human brain research and brain-computer interfaces. These tech companies have also made major moves to communist China. China made an announcement this year that major advancements were made in its research on brain-computer interfaces, as the Chinese government publication Xinhua reported. China has achieved a breakthrough in brain-computer interface chip research, with its first BCI chip brain talker making its debut on Friday at the ongoing World Intelligence Congress held in North China's Tiawan municipality. And I'll stop it there. This is a video brothers can watch. Of course, when you have the time, you can go into this. Like it says, DARPA's Brain Initiative launched by Barack Obama in 2013 aims to, among other things, create fully implantable, modular, reconfigurable neural interface microsystems that communicate wirelessly with external modules. So these different nations are racing to chip individuals. It helps their techno world. It helps the federal government. It helps the investigation per citizen. It helps their record database. It just helps the future as these nations know it. And this is biblical prophecy, as we all are familiar with. To hell with what anybody else says or believes. This prophecy is speaking loud and clear. As it is written, the end it shall speak. And the amplitude or the amplifiers of this prophecy is speaking louder and louder. It's going up and up. To the point that if you can't hear it, then your eardrums are obviously blown out. You basically pronounced deaf. If you can't hear the prophecy of Revelations 13 to 15 to 16 chapter, the mark of the beast, which is the radio frequency identification device being pushed. So this is Revelations 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the beast represents the EU and NATO. Like I said, it just came out this week with Sweden pushing the microchip, chipping its citizens on a grand scale, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the beast, the image of the beast, should be killed. And he, cause of all, both small and great, that's from your minorities to your greats, little guys, big guys, young, small, rich and poor, free and bond, whether you're a free citizen or you're actually in the prison system, to receive a mark in their right hands or in their foreheads. Right, and that mark, when you look it up, is Karagma, which is an implantable device, and that microchip is an implantable device. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 score and 6. And that number 603 score and 6 is 666, which is the badge and the stamp of the devil. So this chip is the mark of the devil, which is the mark of the beast, which is Esau's tracking device to put within human citizens. All right, so this is just a short article. Just wanted to go into it. So I'm gonna end it by giving all praise, honor, and glory to you. How about Shema Shabbat, Shem Dash, the bonus of the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom Akim.